I'm Nick Dombrowski.
And I'm Chelsea Dombrowski.
And we're on staff with InterVarsity, a Christian organization that partners alongside local churches to provide ministries on college campuses.
After a decade of ministry on the border, last fall we were sensing the Father calling us to a season of change, but we weren't quite sure what that meant. In the midst of our discerning, Minnesota kept coming up to our minds, so we contacted InterVarsity in the Twin Cities and asked if they had any opportunities.
Unbeknownst to us, they've needed help at the University of Minnesota for quite some time and had just had a discussion trying to figure out who they could place there, only to come up empty-handed. Just after those meetings, Chelsea and I had sent our email inquiring of any need they may have had. We visited, talked, prayed, and sensed the Father's leading. With sadness, we said goodbye to the border, and in early July we packed all of our belongings, sold our house, and moved to Minnesota to work at the U.
With over 55,000 students, the U of M is a major state school and one of the most liberal and post-Christian cities in the Midwest. The campus straddles both the east and west banks of the Mississippi River in Minneapolis and is the size of a small city unto itself.
The InterVarsity chapter there is small and needing some strategic changes, but has a handful of witnessing community Bible studies that meet together every week to study the scriptures, build community, and reach out to a specific area on campus. These groups also gather together corporately once a week to worship, pray, and be challenged by other pastors and speakers. This year, Chelsea and I are focusing on developing a leadership pipeline.
We've gathered 4 smaller groups of students for some serious discipleship and leadership development in order to establish a solid core, much like Jesus' 12, with hopes to build out from there in the future. The rest of our time is spent networking and fundraising as we get acclimated to the area.
Here are a couple ways you can be praying for us. 1, finding a church. We're looking for a place with leadership we can trust, a community to be a part of, and a future potential for us to influence. 2, building community. Pray that the Father would give us some uplifting friendships to connect and do life with. And 3, funding. InterVarsity staff raise funds like overseas missionaries do. Living in an impoverished environment on the border for quite some time has made it difficult for us to grow our funding base. Pray that during this transition period we'd be able to grow our networks and that the Father would lead us to people who want to support us in reaching out to college students.
Thank you so much for your support. It's because of God's grace and your prayers, encouragement, and financial gifts that we're able to shape the world's future leaders. We're trying to raise $10,000 in this Christmas season to help us make up our deficit. If you'd like to give an extra gift, please ask your church leaders how to give, or go to donate.intervarsity.org to give online. As you celebrate Jesus' incarnation this season, know that his kingdom is coming at the University of Minnesota as it is in heaven. Merry Christmas.